Dear Tünde, a warm welcome to today's podcast episodes. It's a real pleasure to have you here with us. Can you please, before we start, can you please tell us a little bit of yourself? So, how was your career? What are you working? What are you doing? And of course, we want to know what is about the Change Republic. So, please tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Hi, Victor, and thank you very much for having me. And hi to everyone who takes the time to listen to this. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And when you reached out to me, you asked what I would like to talk about. And I said that should be change because what else shall we talk about? And that's pretty much the first word I always put in my introduction. I have been doing different jobs in different industries and countries and roles, and what connected all of them was some kind of change.
Mhm.
Today, I have the fortune to have even two hats professionally. I am a part-time partner at EY in Switzerland and driving change and innovation projects for the firm in Europe and in these markets. And
Mhm.
with my other hat, you already mentioned, I'm also an entrepreneur. I have my own company, the Change Republic, and there our mission is to democratize access to career growth through executive coaching,
Mhm.
branding, personal branding, and speaking opportunities.
So that means change is really something that drives you. So not the change by themselves, but to manage the change. This is really what your passion is. Is it right?
Yes, it's been throughout my professional and personal life, and there is a story I always like to tell about that. If you don't mind, then I will also tell you why was it change.
Yes, please.
Um, when I grew up in Hungary, which is a post-communist country in the 90s, and if anybody who is listening knows that situation, then you know very well you were always told that you need to work hard, and if you work hard, then you can get everywhere. And
Hmm.
that was the belief that served me really well for a long time until many years ahead. I started my first job, and that was in the energy sector. And at one point, things were very turbulent on the market and in the corporate strategy. So I lost my job. I found myself in
Hmm.
the middle of a reorganization. And that was kind of the first moment when I thought, you need more than just to work hard. You need to focus on something else in
Hmm.
order to manage everything that's changing around you. And that that something else for me turned out to be mindset. And
Hmm.
that's what I also focus on throughout my work when I drive change and innovation projects, how we can bring along the individuals, the people with us and on that change journey, because there I also understood you can have the best tools and best processes, but you will fail if you don't have the right mindset and if you don't have the people with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the red thread in my experiences that connects me, and that ultimately led me also to be an executive coach and help people tap into the power of their mind.
Yeah, you said something interesting. Just to want to catch it. So I just had few weeks ago a keynote and a congress, and you said, yeah, work hard is not enough, nah? And this is exactly what I said. So work hard in the organization is not enough, nah? So you have to work on the organization, on the company, or on yourself, nah? If you want to really change something. So if you just running faster, 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 it's like a hamster wheel. No? It's going fast, efficient, but it's going nowhere. No? So sometimes
Absolutely,
we have to change something.
I wasn't there at that keynote, unfortunately, but and didn't steal your line. But glad if we agree on that. Yes, and before somebody misunderstands, working hard is definitely a precondition.
Yeah.
That's a given. That one you have to do. But with that, what I realized on my personal life, and then you can translate this also to a corporate environment, is it's great with that. I will not be protected from external factors like an economic downturn or change in the corporate strategy. Or today we think about AI and what kind of effect does it have on our lives and our careers.
Hmm.
And that's where I'm coming from when I say focus on what you can, and that's your mindset, and that's the way how I do the works I am doing.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what I see, and I'm sure you see it too, that a lot of or the most companies, they're speaking about change, and I had also some discussions today, but with a customer, and yeah, they said, yeah, we need change management, we need change, but in reality, it's quite hard to make change or change management. So, question to you, Tinde. When companies try to change, what are the most common mistakes that you see?
Mm. I think it's complex because change usually doesn't start and stop. It's ongoing. We just jump from one curve to another and from one project to another. So it's very difficult also to follow up on one. What I find very helpful is when we are in a transformation and we are trying to change something small or big is when you take the people with you and you talk to them and not talk about them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that helps quite a lot. And you can start it in small, in focus groups, in whatever samples, but you need to involve them and not just roll out a strategy. And then another important thing is not just to talk about that at the beginning and kick off, but also plus 50 days, 100 days,
Hmm.
150 days, whatever long it is, to keep the channels open, to keep the machine open, not just to forget and
Yeah.
jump on the next curve. So I think those are the two most common pitfalls I would say that it's easy to fall in given this very complex environment.
Hmm. Yeah, and what you are saying, it's absolutely right, and I still think there are some misunderstandings. So you said, yeah, we need to take the people with the change, with this transformation. Huh? So we have to take the people in the bus. But what I see sometimes that the management said to me, yes, but we took the people, so we informed them, huh? So or we communicate with them. Huh? And yeah, in best case, there was something on email or on in intranet or something like this. No? So this is not what we both mean, I think. No? So
Yeah.
this is not taking the people with the change. This is just a pure information, maybe good information, but this is by far not enough. No.
No, that's the work starts much before that. The work starts when you start designing that project and that
Hmm.
strategy and how you would like to do that. And the work starts when you start understanding the implications. And implications not only in terms of KPI, what does it mean in terms of revenues or costs, but also in terms of what does it mean to the people that are impacted. How do they work this week and how their work will look next week,
Hmm.
and what does it mean for them? Are you able to articulate the why of that? If you just,
Hmm.
in your example, if you just send out an email, it's very difficult to lend the message why. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
find it in my examples very beneficial if you spend quite some time at the beginning and make them understand why you have to do this. What's this new tool? What's this new process going to mean for you, and why is it good for you? And if you're not able to articulate that, then
Hmm.
then you've got to rethink a little bit the parts of the project.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's quite a lot of interesting insights that you gave us. How change can start and how can it work effectively. Um, but you also said that change it's not just ends like a project, no? So it's running over time and it's maybe never ends. So how can we make sure that the change really lasts over time?
It's 2025 and we still live in a world where we work with people, and I think that's the point.
And not just
That's the
robots, no?
not just robots, and hopefully that's not going to be the case, although things will change definitely. And these people we are working with, they will be there down the road. And that's what I
Mhm.
meant when I say don't just celebrate that kickoff we started, but bring them along throughout and tell them where we are and show success stories and
Mhm.
also create an environment where you can share not so successful stories to have that psychological safety for people to try new things and adjust things in case needed. And I believe that's not only a nice to have, but it's proven ownership increases definitely the success and how
Mhm.
people themselves are driving also what you are trying to achieve on a strategical level.
Okay, so when I understand you right, we have to create a specific climate where
Mhm.
change is normal, let's say, no? But mistakes and failure is also normal, no? And where change is normal in this way that it's we have to change permanently, no? So
Yeah,
we have to adapt on our environment, on the competitors, and internal work conditions maybe, no? So
yeah.
change is not just a starting point and an ending
No,
point or so, no?
no. And it's not a complete picture, and you may not go out and roll out with a full ready picture. And I like to quote that. I've got a tennis player family, so I like that quote from Arthur Ashe, who gave
Mhm.
a name to the US Open Stadium as well. He said something like, start small, do what you can, start where you are. And that's, I
Mhm.
think, very important to remember. You don't have to have everything ready. It's good just to
Yeah.
start, involve everybody that has to be involved and co-create and feed in feedback and adjust and adapt and work with that. So if you do that, I think there is no chance you forget to involve the people because you
Mhm.
need them for the feedback and for the co-creation.
Yeah.
That's something that stuck with me for a long time. That's something I apply to many things. I try and apply, and that takes off also the pressure of having to be perfect all the
Yeah.
time, honestly.
This is also quite interesting what you said, and I also see it in my daily work, let's say, no? So start where you are, no? So, and I think this is exactly the point. So change management is not just a book or blueprint where you can use in every company and for each project and everywhere the same. No? So you always have to start where you are, and the change roadmap is maybe different because the starting point is just different. No?
Because the starting point is different, because the people are different, because they are doing different things,
Yeah.
and uh, and then by the time you print this blueprint, as you mentioned, things
Mhm.
will again change. It's not a concept that lives
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, and even what we also see sometimes, we are lucky to have some different change projects in one company, in one organization, and we also see that it's the starting point is maybe from department to department different. No? And so there's not just a company culture, so there's also a department culture.
Oh,
And people
absolutely,
are different in accounting than in sales, maybe, no? Or
absolutely.
in production or logistic. So it's there's no blueprint solution that
Yeah.
you can use everywhere. No.
No, and you need to meet them exactly where they are, and you need to speak the language exactly what's spoken in those departments, in those geographies, in those teams,
Mhm.
for them to understand what you are
Yeah,
communicating. So that one email at the beginning will certainly not serve the purpose.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tünde, we discussed also before the podcast about the personal branding and why personal branding is so important when leading change. Could you explain it to us? Why is personal branding that important?
Yeah. I like to talk about that, and I like to co-create it and shape it that also with my audience. And why is that? Is because I think we are just at the end of the day humans, and we connect better with stories, and we connect better with humans. And if I'm talking about change, you connect with me better if I tell you a personal story. And the personal story can be also in a professional environment, but something that makes you land it, that makes me relevant to you, that makes you think, oh, I get it, I feel the pain, I feel the challenge, I know we have to work on.
Hmm.
And to me, this the brand, we call it brand, essentially it is just everything that you are representing: your history, your skills, your certification, your languages, your work experience. and
Hmm.
and how you through that are able to drive change and bring people along with you. I think that is really key when it comes to making the message land. And it's a super noisy word, and we've got news and notifications bombarding us all the time, and we are at the end of the day just humans.
Hmm.
So that personal element, I believe, is always very helpful. And when I speak about this, and when I do trainings about this, is for leaders that work with people that they need to take them along on
Hmm.
some kind of journey. And you can't take yourself out of the equation. You are in there, and you need to
Yeah.
be able to explain why are you doing that and what's your take on that. That's, in a very simple term, what I mean when we speak about personal branding, why that's important to
Yeah.
put yourself in.
Yeah, I think because we want to change people, so we have to act as a human being, as a people. No? So, and if we want to change people, I think we don't have to present just facts and so on. No? So, like you said, no? We have to give people the understanding, the feeling why a specific change is necessary. No? So that means when from the leadership side a change is starting, they have to be, yeah, let's say human. No?
Yes,
So
it has to be, yeah. And look, Victor, you're doing a podcast, and the podcast is a wonderful format also to tell a story, to talk about something in a more also personal angle. And I believe we are really there where this is what you need to grab people's attention, because
mhm,
everything else is standard and industrial and AI generated and whatnot.
mhm, mhm. So we just started to discuss about the leaders or leadership. So how can leaders change the cultures? What can they do if someone is hearing us and said, "Yes, I need a change. There's an urgency." What could be maybe the first step to create a specific culture where change is possible?
That's a very complex question, Victor. I'm not sure we have enough time to wait for
Let's
that.
bring maybe one or two aspects.
Yeah, but the very, very most important element that comes to my mind, and what you feel immediately if it's not there, is certainly psychological safety. So
Mhm.
if you are trying to change something, you will create some kind of different from what the status quo is, and
Correct.
different can be scary, and
Yeah.
different can be intimidating, and different can mean people can make mistakes because they are not doing what they used to. So first of all, to have that culture that it's okay, that we are all on this together, that we will try and we will experiment, and maybe A and B and C will not work, but D
Mhm.
will work, and we need to get to through A and B and C to get to D. To have that kind of basis, I think that's very important. And also the opposite, if you don't have that, then you end up with an email and the top down change, and nothing good will come out of that.
Mhm. Yeah. So a climate of trust. I think
Yes.
this is the one of the first steps that we have to create, and people should believe it. No? So this
Yeah,
is a
it needs to be
currency
authentic.
that
Yeah.
we pay in our company, no? And people have to try to trust in this currency. No?
Yeah, and it's a learning. And for me, what's on a professional and also on a private level is very enlightening, and takes off the pressure from your shoulders if you really don't have to have that
Mhm.
perfect. So it's a learning journey. It's co-creating, and it will not be 100% co-creation. But if you're able to grab those elements where you can celebrate little success together, and you can learn from little failures together, then you've got a much better chance for a much
Mhm.
nicer outcome.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. You said, Tünde, in your introduction that you are coaching leaders. So, what kind of skills leaders need to stay strong and successful for in these turbulent times? Let's say.
Yeah, and it's the $1 million question, and that's what interests me as a coach. That's what interests me at my work
Hmm.
at the Big Four, and that's what interests me as a mother as well, because I've got a 13-year-old, and I need to understand what is it great, what is a kind of direction me as a parent can
Hmm.
recommend to him. And the way I see this, and the way I see this also at my work, is skills like communication skills, soft skills, being able to tell a story, to take people along with you on the journey,
Hmm.
are extremely important. Skills, complex, simplifying complex things, and solving problems without getting too technical is getting very important. And what we see also with artificial intelligence is the cost of knowledge is pretty much zero. Any
Yeah,
skills which you train used to train you and me, we were trained in universities and in aulas and books,
it's
and
everywhere available, no?
it's everything is basically training material now for a machine. That can be done. That can be
Hmm.
done by the machine. So what we can put on the top is what we in 2025 can identify really as human skills. And
Yeah.
ask me in 3 years, and maybe I will tell you something different, because reality has proven. But to your question, what a leader needs to be successful, I believe these skills are extremely important, because the technical expertise is kind of the entry ticket, and that's something else, somebody else or another robot is doing. The way
Hmm.
how you can bring your people together, how you can communicate, how you can motivate, how you can tell a story,
Hmm.
that is going to be still your job, and an
Yeah.
important job.
Yeah. I think I mean I fully agree, no? And I think the technical skills, so the knowledge, is still needed. I mean, this is still the basis, even
Absolutely.
though the cost of this knowledge are decreasing. No? I mean, let's take ChatGPT or other tools. You get it's immediately available. Nevertheless, you still have to understand it. No?
Yes.
But the costs are lower. Fully agree. No? But the difference between us and machines are, yeah, the feelings, the human being. No? I mean, and yeah, this is, I think, especially for the leaders, where the knowledge, the technical skills are less important. The other skills should be more and more stronger and more important, right?
Absolutely. It's an entry ticket, as you said, it's still needed, and we need to figure out how to get that entry ticket on
Hmm.
the non-conventional ways. Um, but that is not where you really add value as a leader. And what I see also with my clients in my coaching, the more years pass, the more experience you get, the more
Hmm.
challenging is that. And the challenges are getting just bigger, because the responsibilities are bigger. So that's, I think, really the $1 million ticket, to figure out how you can add value also in this super complex and changing world as a leader.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, $1 million question, I think you're right. No? And I think it's extremely urgent for today's leaders, or for tomorrow's leaders even more, um, to think about it and always adapt their skills, their leadership skills, um, maybe because of AI, no?
Yeah.
Because it's changing very fast. And the question I have in my mind, how can, or how will maybe AI change the way of change management? Do you have
Mm,
an idea?
I'm exploring different parts of it, and it was the same for me. 2.5, 3 years ago, when it has been first available on your and my laptop in the form of ChatGPT, and you have seen things happening that you thought, no, that wasn't possible. Um,
Hmm.
I think that how that is impacting us, we need to go through that change curve, definitely, whatever it means in your job, in my role, in my team, what I'm doing on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We need to go through that and experiment with that at the end of the change curve, and somehow integrate it in it. I think it would be foolish to think that we can just ignore it, or we can ignore it
Mhm.
on a long term. I believe that it's an early adopters chance and first movers chance, and this is what we all have to do. Where I see specifically a really big change is, and maybe that's the same for change management. I definitely see it as a coach. How you will how you will keep that human element, which is so important in both change
Mhm.
management and in both coaching. And again, they are the same. I'm experimenting and co-creating with my clients, with the people I work with, and try to understand what does that mean for us, and what does it mean for
Mhm.
the next project. How can we incorporate this better? So it's a learning curve, I believe, and we all have to, in our jobs and in our roles, we all have to go through that learning curve and
Mhm.
experiment with it and see where is it going, and where I am as a human still adding value.
Yeah. So you already gave us some insights. What are you doing in the Change Republic? So how else do you help people with your Change Republic concept?
Um, so that the concept came from the fact how you can really tap into the mindset, and I started with mine, definitely, and through the years also with other colleagues and people that reached out to me, and in the Change Republic it does have actually a structure and a brand, and coaching is an extremely powerful tool to
Mhm.
initiate personal growth and give you a reply to all those challenges that you have as the years are passing in a professional environment. And what I also realized throughout the years, that it was still kept as a very exclusive. The certificate I have says executive coach. It's a
Mhm.
very exclusive, available growth tool for only a certain group of people, or that at least that
Cool.
was what traditionally it was. And what I see with the appearance of artificial intelligence, and what we are doing also at the Change Republic, and we are testing and trying with our clients and with the developers, is how you can then integrate it and offer tools and services to people to make it more accessible
Mhm.
in terms of cost, but also in terms of time. If we do a one-on-one coaching, it needs 60 minutes of my time and your time to do that. And at how we can reduce time and cost associated with that incredibly efficient and powerful personal growth tool which
Mhm.
coaching
Mhm.
is. So that's why it has its own shape, its own form. That's why it's executing and experimenting at the same time, and it's super exciting times to be able to do those experiments with clients.
Cool. I'm really excited. So it sounds really great. And yeah, thank you for your explanation. And maybe my last question: how can people that are interested, maybe to be coached from you, how can they reach you?
Um, the same way you found me, I am available on LinkedIn, on
Mhm.
my personal profile, on the company profile, and maybe you will also put that in the description of this episode.
For sure.
And I also have the opportunity and to talk on events. So I meet a lot of people also on the events where I am speaking, and
Mhm.
continuously learn together and shape how this is also looking for me and for the Change Republic. So you will see me in the bigger Zurich area or Swiss events more often
Mhm.
in person, and virtually definitely you can find me on LinkedIn and see if what I say to you makes sense. And then we can.
Perfect. So I will definitely follow you, continue follow you, and look what are you doing. And maybe one day we have an opportunity to meet each other personally.
Yes, absolutely. I would love that. Thank you very much, Victor.
Perfect, Tünde. Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure for me. It was really inspiring. So I feel with you. I feel the same, I think. So I hope that also we gave some inspiration for others. So thanks a lot, Tünde.
Yes, let us know. Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.